Greetings, my fellow Radizens, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Ratopia, Episode 2, The Town Guard. So, the next thing I am going to focus on, I'll get the taxes up and running, is probably going to be a military. But I also probably want a royal bed built soon, too. I'm just thinking, is there any blind spots of things that I should have gotten already, but I haven't? I'll research school and masonry. And water tank. So the Shrine of the Rat requires 4 flowers, and I want to get that built. I don't need the Radizen registry right now, but I do want a tax office. So I'm going to build a tax office next to the toilet. It's what I think about taxes. No, I'm kidding. I like my taxes going to infrastructure and the like. Oh, bunny. So let's go get the flowers that I need to be able to build the shrine, as the shrine will help me a lot. It's really the only shrine I particularly care for. There's 3 types of shrines, and you can have one active at a time. There is the rat, the dog, and the ox. The ox is a production shrine. The dog is a combat shrine. And the rat is a taxes shrine, I guess. So here's the flowers I need. Good. And that gives me a research point. And then, Shrine of the Rat, I'll just build here. Again, everything can be moved for free later on. So once I have more space, I do indeed plan on moving things. Oh, and there's another grave down there. Oh, so I probably got a tunneler from that grave. That checks out. And I got a tunneler from that grave because the zombie that spawned at that grave down there couldn't path to me. And as a result, tunneled instead. So I have solved it. So there we go. Fish for another research point. And then down here, I'm going to get a laboratory going so that we can get more research points that's not dependent on me discovering something new. Pacifist and inactive, elitist and fragile. I don't like either of them. Pessimistic, yeah. All right. No choice. As you can see, it happens often enough where migrants come in that that it's not that important. All right, so I grabbed some of the water from there and bringing that up to research. Rats can drown, yes. There is a piece of technology that you can build for yourself to prevent you from drowning, like a snorkel mask. But yeah, rats drown. So I'm just helping out excavate the laboratory. And then I also see that they're in need of joy. So let's get them joyed. I'm going to set up a circus stand. And I would say the circus stand is best placed in a high traffic spot. So I'm planning on putting it here. And I can assist my Radizens in setting this up. Later on in the game, when you have a lot of people, you don't actually have to do a lot of your own building. But early on, you just don't have the workers or infrastructure to sort of sit back and administrate. Plus, I like getting my hands dirty anyway. Oops. Speaking of hands dirty, swiping at nothing. All right, service circus stand. Right there. Now, my plan is, in terms of, like, architecture or design style, that a lot of the services will be to the left towards this giant tree, and then the production will go to the right. Because there's not too many services that you have to supply, especially not to poor rats, whereas there's a lot of different production that we will be unlocking. Migrants. Quiet, monetarist. So monetarists are really not great because they get pissed when they pay taxes, and anarchists are terrible. They hate when they're around you. So nope, not going with that set either. So let's go ahead and actually, I'm not at the point. I would say about 5K is when I'm going to worry about taxes. I'm not at the point where I'm too stressed about taxes at the moment, so I'll leave that alone. So the current priority is actually provide joy. So steel boot. No, you're skillful. I'm going to put Marauder, who's optimistic, as the one working the circus stand. Because, of course, he won't be able to entertain himself. It's going to require me to get another joy object or another circus stand for him to actually benefit from the circus stand. Actually, thank you for the resub. And Aldrice as well. Tangier for resubbing. And Homicular for the gifted subs. Cheers. And Craig too. Man, I missed a lot. Alright, we also have the laboratory. The best people to work in the laboratory would be intelligent ones. I'm going to put Steel Boot in there because he has a production efficiency. And he'll get intelligence just by working there. There we go. Our Radisons are getting joy. And, sorry, Bunny. But I am going to get rabbits for research. Alright, quick question for you guys. What to focus on next? There's a poll right there. I can continue to do happiness and prosperity, security and defense, exploration, aesthetics, production and resources, research and administration, or other. Where you guys propose. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So next research that I want to unlock, let's see. Mini storage, I think, would be nice for production. And then it looks like security and defenses are getting voted on. I'm going to unlock prisons. And in terms of security, I'll get a wooden door. Oh, another underground farm. Beauteous. Now, unfortunately for this fish hideout, I do think that this pond is going to be intentionally drained, as it's just really in the way of where I want to build. There is a way to do this automatically, but there's not a lot that my current ruler needs to do, so I might as well just scoop some water. Migrants. Monetarist, no thanks. Crier and Clumsy, oh god. Crier, nope, I don't like any of them. Alright, security and defenses. Call that poll a little early. Renmere, thank you for the resub. So, in terms of security, if you destroy the grave sites, it will reduce the amount of attackers for maybe the next attack, but the grave sites will come back. So what I find is the best way to do it is to set up spike traps so that the path that they have to take to you sucks for them. And therefore, it makes it easier to defend. Which means I'm going to have my sawmill start to make spikes so that I can set up spike traps. And that will reduce the fighting effectiveness and harm the enemies as they come towards me. So focus on security is the current priority. I'm going to save my research points for now. Another thing that will also help is getting military. So I'm going to start to construct upwards. So that I can place things... Oh, that's going to be in the way. Up here. That tree is probably going to get removed at some point. And replanted once I have planters. So getting one of the members of our community to fight with me, and then also a bed for me to rest on, is how I'm going to handle security, plus making sure that I have some spike traps to help out. I would say that the meta is kind of like just use a whole bunch of spike traps. It really is very effective. So wooden stick time. So up here, I'll put a training camp and a royal bed once I have... Oh, I don't have fabric. So let's research that for the royal bed, because I'm going to want to be able to heal myself. So in production, that would be a weaving mill. And weaving mills take leaves or grass and turns them into cloth. And hopefully I get some migrants I like. There we go. Royalist and Hardy. You're going to be a good fighter. Oops. That's the wrong key. So we got a raffle timer up for who is most certainly going to fight for us. And for now, I'll put their bed next to their training center. All right, weaving mill is done. And I got my first wooden stick delivered from the sawmill. So we just received some tech points for that. Once I have 4 more sticks, I'll be able to make the weaving mill. Oh, Homuncular was coming to build that dirt block, and I just did it. We'll bring that back to storage. I don't think I have flower seeds yet, so I'll get them here. And the training camp is under construction. Awesome. Wishbringer, you are going to be our newest member. You can assign a rat to a portage station, but they will haul automatically. Jobless will mine, haul, harvest. They will do all those tasks automatically. So, Springer, you are going to be training here, and I'm going to train you into a guard. Guards get an extra maximum health, whereas militarants get moving speed. I'd rather have them be tankier. And they need to work at this training camp for 360 workload in order to actually become a guard. So there we go. We got our first guard. I'm also getting the weaving table up now, which will allow me to produce fabrics so that I can have a bed for myself. Come on, migrants. Give me one good. You suck. You're not bad. Pacifist. But that's fine. Which is funny that you have, like, combat. Skillful, hypertent. Yep, we're going with you. Another raffle. Alright. So, Mr. Pacifist, I'm going to put you where Steel Boot was. You're going to work the lab. Steel Boot would do something else. I'm still not to the point where I feel the need to get taxes. That's more like Rhadamant count, like, I don't know, 10-ish. Let's call it. And then once Double Dwarf makes some extra sticks, I will get some traps set up. So, military? Spike trap. Oh, I don't have enough sticks. Now, the entire giant tree to my left is made of, like, sticks and leaves. So if I dug my way through here, I would inevitably get tons of sticks and leaves. It's a good way until you have like an arboretum that you've set up for yourself. It's a really good way to fund your lumber needs early on. There are gathering stations which will gather trees automatically. But if you continually to queue up gather orders for your Radizens, you don't really need to have a dedicated person doing it. All right, new migrants. Let's go check them out. Pessimistic, big appetite, quick, and royalist. I'll take the quick royalist. I like royalists. I like my citizens to be happy when they're around me. They're going to need a new bed as well. Military. We'll get a spike trap here and here, next to the gravesite. So I could destroy the gravesite, but like I said, it would just respawn somewhere else. So in my experience, it's usually best to just make it so that the zombies have to fight you instead. And then if there is a grave that's in a bad spot, like the one that's underneath me now, it might be best to destroy that one and hope that it respawns somewhere else, which is more strategically easy to defend. So we have a weaving mill, and I'm going to assign steel boot to it. And then I'm going to say, make fabric until we have 30 of it. So, Marauder, you will sleep next to the circus stand. This will be Backroad Runners. And in terms of research, let me think. I could try to set up a fishery, but I'd rather have you guys vote on that. I think I'm going to go Hunter's Hut, because there's a lot of bunnies around. And then paired with Hunter's Hut, a hospital might be a good idea. But I don't have medicine production yet. So maybe not that. So actually, let's undo that Hunter's Hut. Your hunters will, as they level up, the beds that they sleep on will heal them. So your hunters can get to a point where they don't require a hospital, where they heal every night the amount that they need to heal. So I'm just trying to think of some other things that I might want. I can go for a kiln and a pharmacy. So Whispringer has worked enough now to actually be a guard. So if I take a look at the training camp, this brown arrow is completed, so they're functionally a guard now and has extra attack power and will help aid in the defense. There is a way to control them manually, but I don't have the squad tent unlocked yet. And I'm not all that concerned about it. So now we're setting up the traps. So here's the first trap, and we're getting the second trap resource delivered. Yeah, training didn't take very long. The higher level combatants will take longer to train. So when you have a really high level like a barracks... Oh, and we have another evil presence. So when you have a high level like a barracks, it doesn't happen overnight. So here, as you can see, the grave down there is glowing, and they're going to tunnel to us because there's not a valid path to get there, which is fine. All right, let's go check out the migrants. And we're almost at tier level 2 prosperity, which is cool. Anarchist, no thanks. Crier, who's frugal. Nah. Frugal's not all that important early on. We just got our first fabric delivered. So that's another research point. And no, I have not started the raffle for Mike, so let's go do that. I think I need to assign the beds as well. Now, Mike... Oh, this should be Steel Boots' bed. Mike is a fast runner, so they would be good at any job that requires them to run a lot, as that's their stat bonus. So maybe even keeping Mike purposely unemployed to be like a hauler. Something like that. Now that I have a little bit of security done, you guys can choose what is focused on next. See if I have enough fabrics for a bed. I don't. 3 of 4. We're getting there. And we are about to get attacked. Sorry, fish. Your pond's in my way. I claim eminent domain. Alright, here is the tunnel. Close that down quick. Oh, there's a third that tunneled towards us. So there's 3 grave sites that are active right now. So I defeated 2 of the enemies. And then, as you can see, Wishbringer is taking on the 3rd. You disabled my table? Dude. So if I move over to the right here, we should see that those traps sprung and probably did a lot of the damage needed to kill that last one. Alright, looks like we're going to do a little bit of exploration. Before I do exploration, one question I have for you guys, which is the food source that I should focus on. So, in terms of food, I can do grain, meat, or fish. So grain would be farming wheat. Meat would be ranching bunnies or hunting. And then fish would be setting up fisheries. I would say grain and meat are like... Grain is probably the highest volume that you can supply food for. Like, you can get a lot of grain really, really efficiently. Meat is a little bit more reliable in the winter, but probably less efficient, even given that wheat is harder to do in the winter. And then fish is the harder of the two, unless we have a lot of decent ponds, which unfortunately the pond underneath us is probably going to get destroyed. All right, I don't like any of these, so bye-bye. And you guys want me to explore. So I am going to head west through the tree. Obviously, the flatter the path, the quicker it is to traverse. But I can always flatten it out if it's something to be high traffic later. So as you can see, it's a big old tree. Structures need foundation. Oh, they're probably replacing non-flooring with dirt floors. Oh, we got a little bit of grain over here and flowers. Oh, a lot of them. Hell, a lot of grain. I could very easily start a large silviculture grain field and flower field. Oh, and we got some copper and iron. Surface copper, surface iron. Nice. And then a gap that I cannot walk across without some infrastructure. I'll build a temporary little something here to get me across. And on my way back, I'll probably get the copper and iron. Well, one or the other. I can't carry both. And it's reminding me to use the code stone. I know. Not my first rodeo. There's a little... Oh, there is more resources. So this is sandstone. It's like a desert biome, if you will. I'll head back to the migrants in just a minute. Can I pet bunnies? Not a friendly pet. I can murder them, though, and eat them, and butcher them for meat, leather, or bone, and ranch them. That's probably not what you meant. Alright, looks like meat and grain is going to be our... So this is the edge of the world. As you can see, my X-chord is 1. So it doesn't go any further west than this. So I've explored fully west. And grain and meat tied. So... What should I focus on? If you guys want me to focus on food production, vote production of resources. Well, whatever you guys want. And I am going to go home with a little bit of copper in hand. Copper's the easier metal to process, and the first metal that you'll probably process in the game. Iron takes a little bit more resource production chain than copper. Copper's more straightforward. Does being fully in one direction mean attacks can't come from that way? Yes. Although, I would not suggest building your kingdom at the edge of the world, because it means getting to the other side is going to be really annoying without, like, significant infrastructure. Also, unless you're playing on a ridiculously hard difficulty, it's probably unnecessary as well. Migrants. Y'all suck. Come back with better ones. Yeah, the world is finite. East and west is small, but it goes down pretty far. It isn't, however, like Terraria, where like there's something big and secret down below, but there are things to discover. I'm not spoiling it, and I don't want anyone to spoil it beyond that. So there's a good reason to go exploring, but you don't need to get to the bottom of the world for a unique resource. I'll put it that way. All right, so you guys want me to focus on production resources. What to focus on first? Wheat or meat? So for wheat, I'll explain the process. The process will be to probably build some sort of step well to be able to collect rainwater, and then to set up grain fields. Wild crops will only grow outside of winter, whereas farmed crops will grow in the winter. So you can gain wheat in the winter. It just takes a little bit more resource production, which is fine. The process for meat will be to kill a bunch of bunnies and then to set up bunny ranches, also probably with grass fields, because bunnies need to be fed wheat and grass. So in a way, meat production outside of hunting also requires wheat production, because your bunnies require a mix of grass and wheat as feed for you to get bunnies to then slaughter in the butchery for meat, leather, or bone. And on top of that, bone can be used to grind down into bone meal to be able to make wheat better, faster. Looks like wheat is winning. So let's go and research what we need for that. So there's two ways of getting it, and I'm going to do the easy way first and then the harder way second. Because the easy way I can set up really quickly, which is the silviculture post, which is sort of like, you can think of it as like an herbalist, where they tend wild crops and they harvest wild crops. And then you could also get the gatherer's station too, or set one up. So that's the easy way, silviculture and small garden, and then the harder way will be the grain farm. Killadrix, thanks you for the raid back. Pleasure to see you here. Welcome. For your viewers, here's a little synopsis in chat of the game. If you're familiar with Craft the World or Oxygen Not Included, it's kind of like that. It's a survival strategy city builder. And welcome and thank you. So you were playing RimWorld today. How did it go? Were you still playing the Winston Waves one? Or are you onto something new? Still working on Winston? Sweet. I hope you're getting some legendary rewards. Or at least RNG treating you nice. So for silviculture, so the silviculture post is sort of like an herbalist post where they tend wild or planted crops. So then we're also going to get crop planters. So let me update the priority here. Work on wheat production. If you don't focus on some sort of food production facility in the spring and summer, you will have a rough winter. So it's wise that we're working towards that. So the other resource that we're going to need to be able to tend wild crops is a lot of mud, as mud makes planter boxes. Luckily, I have a giant pond beneath my base. It's annoying that it's there, but it will make it easier to get the mud that we need. All right, migrants. Hypertensive? Ugh. Hypertensive? Ugh. Anarchist? Ugh. You all suck. Goodbye. Rejected. Now, I generally don't use silviculture, like, way late in the game. So I think what I'm going to do is set up, like, a dirt path all the way through this tree, where it will be like a road, and then have the silviculture post tend those crops that are west of us, meaning that this wild wheat is going to get dug up and put into planter boxes. Thank you for tuning in to Ratopia, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 9th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, a link can be found in the description of the video or also at Rhadamant.com. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Radizens.